Today I'm going to be talking about bouncing back and postpartum fourth trimester. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another Lady Savage video, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my thoughts on postpartum bounce back, and also just what I kind of plan on doing myself. Anything that I say in this video is not to hurt anyone's feelings. If you've done these things in a different way, or if you plan to do it in a different way, that is totally fine. This is just me and my experience, what I've learned and what I plan to do. So please don't get your feelings hurt. This is not meant to be rude in any way, shape, or form. It's just some statements. So the first thing I want to say is I am not a fan of the bounce back movement. The whole concept of bouncing back after having a baby seems very, very wrong to me, and there's lots and lots of reasons. And I'm going to share with you guys a few different things that need time to heal, recover, why I think it can be a dangerous thing, and why I don't plan on doing it myself, even being someone who is into fitness and of course wants to get your body back, as people say, because who doesn't want to look and feel as good as they possibly can. Pregnancy is a beautiful thing. Postpartum is a beautiful thing. It's a very, very big struggle because when you're pregnant, people are excited for you. They want to see your belly growing. They know that there's a baby in there, but as soon as you give birth, it's like people forget that you're still going through something. They forget to ask how you're doing, how you're feeling, all of those things, and that's okay. But us as women, we need to find a good solid ground for ourselves and to know that it's okay to not say yes to society's standards of bouncing back. So I'm going to start going through a few different things, a few different time frames of healing after having a baby, and then we'll kind of get into maybe some of the dangers of doing this. So bouncing back, first of all, if you guys don't know, this is pretty much when like stinking influencers or celebrities or whatever people talk about, look at me, I am now 6 months postpartum and I am less than what I was before I had a baby, or they look like they shrunk back exactly to what they were before, or whatever. That's pretty much what we're talking about, is the getting your body back to where it was before, and not talking about maybe what you're going through, what your body's processing and going through, but just saying like all that matters is what you look like, and I find that that is repulsive to me personally. So I plan on doing things a little bit differently. You won't hear me talking about my postpartum journey and comparing myself to the person I was before, because I don't care. This is a new journey that I'm on, and I'm not trying to get back to where I was. I'm trying to be a better person than who I was before I got pregnant. So let's start. Everyone knows this like 6 to 8 week range. I also have notes because I will forget. So 6 to 8 week range, everyone kind of knows this as the typical norm. This is when your doctor usually says like you're free to go, you can work out, you can have sex, you can do all of these things. That's pretty typical, is about 6 weeks. During this period of time, your uterus is healing from having that placenta. You have a huge like plate-sized wound on the inside of your uterus, so that's healing. Your uterus is also shrinking back to a somewhat normal size, and then you're going to be healing from things like hemorrhoids and all of the wonderful things that come with pushing out a child. So, and if you've had stitches or a C-section or anything like that, it's going to be the time that you're healing from all of that. A lot of times by 6 to 8 weeks, you're pretty well healed. The fourth trimester, which is something that not a lot of people talk about, the fourth trimester is supposed to be about a 12-week period of time. So they give you that 6 to 8 week range, but really you should be taking care of your body and recognizing that the fourth trimester should be about 12 weeks long, just like every other trimester. So give your body some time to recover, to repair itself, and not push yourself past any crazy limits. It takes about 5 or 6 months for your hormones to somewhat regulate. This means your estrogen, your progesterone, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people will start to get their first period around this time as well. Not everyone, depends on if you're breastfeeding, if you're not, so on and so forth. But it does take that long for your hormones to somewhat regulate. So 5 to 6 months. So if you're trying to cut or diet or over-exercise during this period of time and your hormones are not regulated, you can imagine the damage that that's probably doing. Relaxin, the hormone relaxin is in your body when you're preparing for a baby. It looses and relaxes, literally, those joints, ligaments, tendons, all of those things to help release from the pelvis, so it's easier for the baby to exit. That hormone stays in your body pretty high for about 5 or 6 months. So if you're jumping back in the gym, lifting heavy, going hard, doing all these things, you are much more likely to be injuring yourself than if you were to wait, past this time to really go hard and heavy. This is not a time to be going crazy. This is a time for knowing that your body is still healing, but also, doing some exercise. I'm not going to be taking like a hiatus from movement or exercises or weightlifting or anything like that, but I will be taking a period of time where I'm not going to be going as hard and heavy as I possibly can because I know my body's still going to be recovering. So 18 months. By a year, people are like, I want my body back, I want all the things back, I want to have, this is my new normal. They want to be perfect. But by 18 months, you're still dealing with thyroid changes. So depending on who you are, depending on your diet, depending on your lifestyle, depending on if you had thyroid issues before or not, thyroid changes happen so much in pregnancy. A lot of people don't have any thyroid issues until after the first pregnancy. There is a thing called postpartum thyroiditis, and that can take about 18 months to heal and recover. Imagine you're cutting weight, you're trying to diet, you're trying to over-exercise, you're doing all these things, while your thyroid, one of the most important things, is not working properly because it's just healing. Everything is healing. Everything is going through a process. So you're really pushing yourself past this point of maybe where you shouldn't be going. Also, over-exercising and dieting can make this harder, longer, and actually last a lifetime with your thyroid. They also suggest at least waiting 18 months before, so after you've given birth, to getting pregnant the next time. I actually have worked with a lot of women who are like, I'm 6 months postpartum and I'm ready to have another baby, and your body is actually not ready to have another baby. They suggest 18 months, but it's actually best if you wait 2 to 3 years between having children. Again, this is not to put anyone down for anything that they have done, and accidents happen sometimes, and that's just the way it rolls. But your body, this next little phase is the 2 to 3 years. Your body is fully healed by that point. Your minerals should no longer be depleted. When you're pregnant, and then when you're breastfeeding, the minerals and nutrients in your body are being used. They're being given to a baby. Everything that you have, the baby gets first. Your body will deprive itself of all its things to give it to this baby first. So a lot of women will have mineral depletion. Not all women will, but a lot of women will. And it can take years and years to get those minerals back to where they were. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about having another baby and you're thinking about all the things that you need or did to prepare for this first one. You might think about what you may change before you start a second one, or before you really start going crazy and try to decide that you want to look like the hottest thing you've ever looked like in your life before, and you're going to go through all these strenuous things to make that happen. Remember that it does take time for all those minerals to refill, your hormones to recover, all of those things to happen. So we're going to flip to the other side. Dangers of bouncing back. So if you're someone who wants to breastfeed or plans to breastfeed, being in a deficit of calories or over-exercising can have an effect on your breast milk. There's actually a lot of women that it's interesting and hard for me to understand it, who will specifically stop breastfeeding so that they can get their body back. And that, to me, is a really hard thing for me to understand, because breastfeeding, especially in the beginning, is so important to a baby, that for me to quit breastfeeding just to get my own body back is a really hard thing for me to understand. It doesn't mean that they don't have their own reasons, and it doesn't mean that it's not okay. It's just not something that I feel like I want to do. I would rather feed my child the best that I can. And then also getting back to working out too soon can cause prolapse of the uterus, of the bowels, of your bladder, of a whole bunch of different things, and you really don't want that either. So knowing that you're taking your time getting back into it, building up that pelvic floor, doing all the little simple things before you go crazy and start lifting heavy and hard. We talked about this in one of the videos prior about the modifications that I made in my workout, but the Diastasis Recti is the separation of the abdominal muscles. Rushing back into your workouts after having a baby will also do this. It doesn't just happen in pregnancy, it can happen postpartum as well. Jumping into doing too many ab exercises, jumping into lifting too hard or too heavy can also cause this. There's also a chance of hemorrhage and bleeding. You just birthed a baby, you just birthed a placenta, and you have that wound in there. It's very important that that heals before you start going crazy, doing a bunch of exercises. Hemorrhaging is a big thing, and so you need to be aware of that. And a lot of people will notice if they do start exercising too soon that they will increase, their bleeding will increase in those first 6 to 8 weeks, and that will be a big sign for you to just chill out a bit. So dieting dangers is the last thing I really want to go over. Dieting dangers too soon after having a baby. Again, breastfeeding. You will not have as great of a supply for milk. If that's not something that you choose to do, that's not going to be a really big issue. But if it is something that you want to do, it's very important that you're eating plenty of calories. And sometimes you have to eat more calories because your milk supply is down, that it actually prevents you from being able to lose weight. Some women do really well. They lose a lot of weight during breastfeeding. Other women actually gain weight during breastfeeding. So it's not really one or the other. It is one or the other. It's not really in between there. It's a very sticky situation. A lot of people say, oh, the weight just falls off when you breastfeed. That's not true for everyone. So just keep that in mind as well. Like, you need to put in nutrients into your body so that you can make nutrients for your baby. You are already lacking in sleep. Robert and I are very big on not putting someone through a cut who is lacking in sleep, overstressed, anything like that that can cause your hormones or metabolism or just your body to have a hard time. We don't like to put people through a cut who are doing that. So if you're already lacking in sleep, likely because you just had a baby, and also probably stressed out a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of things that are changing in life. Maybe you're someone that has to go back to work. Maybe you're just getting used to having a brand new baby. Maybe you have several children. That's a lot of reason for you to not go into a cut after having a baby. So you also, again, the mineral depletion, you want to be eating nutrient-dense foods. You do not want to deprive yourself of nutrients. You want to make sure that you're getting all the nutrients in, you're getting all the minerals that you need in, not only for yourself in the day-to-day, but also getting that buildup of those minerals as well. You can also do some mineral testing to make sure that you have great minerals if you want to jump into having another baby, or if you're just wanting to kind of see where you're at with those minerals. You can actually get those tested to make sure that you're in a good range for that. And then also it can cause chronic fatigue. If you're over-exercising, if you're dieting and you have all of these other things going on in life, it can be a huge stressor and actually cause you to have chronic fatigue syndrome. So those are just a few big things for me on why I will not be bouncing back, why I don't believe women should be trying to bounce back. Robert and I had a discussion the other day that, during pregnancy, you want to make sure that you're not gaining lots and lots of weight in the first place. But some women do. Some people just naturally don't. But after having a baby, you are going to lose a little bit of weight. It's just going to happen. You're going to lose the baby, the placenta, a lot of fluids, things like that. So you are going to lose a little bit of weight initially. Then it's going to take a little bit of time for the rest of the weight to come off. Sometimes it comes off really easily and naturally. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Robert and I just had a conversation the other day that if not all this baby weight has come off by the first 12 to 16 months, then I will attempt to possibly go back into a cut or something like that. But I will not be doing any sort of deficit, any sort of cut, any sort of calorie restriction, over exercising, lots of cardio, anything like that for at least a year to a year and a half, just because I don't think that my body needs it. And my goal is not to look like a supermodel after I have a baby. It's to take care of my child, to take care of my family, and be the healthiest I can be. And by being the healthiest I can be doesn't always mean that you look the best that you've ever looked. So of course we always want to look great for the world or ourselves or our husband or whatever, but I think the best thing that we can do is to put health first and realize that hormone regulation, mineral depletion, things like that, those are really, really important. And in order to get to the body that you want to have, you need to focus on those things first. So, or I'm going to focus on those things first. I don't care what you do, but you take care of you. So that is really it for this video. That's why you won't really see me talking and comparing myself to who I was before. Really trying to make my body image a big thing after this. Of course, I'll be posting videos of my workouts, and I'll be posting probably updates on how I am doing postpartum, but you won't hear me talking a lot about how proud I am that 6 months later I have done this, 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 and this, because I don't want to be that encouragement and that harm towards women who should be putting their health as a priority rather than the way that they look. So that is just my take. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you later.